Once there was a place that came to be known as the town of the disappearing people. Outsiders found it strange and disturbing how a population could disappear so fast. But the people in the town did not think it odd. Everyone had a relative who had gone away. Everyone knew of a friend who was preparing to leave. It was the most natural thing to do in those days, a sensible solution to a problem. But not too long ago, the inhabitants were generally content living, working, playing, praying, and breathing in the fragrant country atmosphere. In fact, they made a pastime of just breathing in large quantities of air to while away their time. In the middle of the town plaza, there stood a flame, the origins of which were already lost in the mists of time. It actually made the town air pure and sweet, naturally. Nobody really knew how it did this, but day in and day out, it did. Over the years, however, people started to keep to themselves, saying, "As long as I keep out of trouble and mind my own business, things will be okay." They started to divide the town into smaller, isolated barrios and built walls around them. This seemed to work, or so they thought. One day, the flames just suddenly flickered and died. Then a strange sickness began to taint the air. The people suddenly found themselves struggling to breathe. The once pure, fragrant air was in short supply. More effort was needed to breathe in. Things changed. People started to hoard air. Public servants started to ration air to the barrios and keep the best air for themselves. People began stealing breath from each other, and no one felt secure anymore. As a dark, desolate cloud choked the town, people spoke of faraway places where people could breathe more freely. They left their families behind, promising to take them away from the toxic town when they found the ideal place out there. People moved away, first in trickles, then in droves. The best, the brightest, the most skilled were the first to go, for there was no hope, no future in the airless town. In the meantime, leaders from the various barrios tried to find ways to improve the situation. There were times when they seemed close to a solution, like importing fresh air or developing new breathing techniques. People breathe more easily, but only for a short time. Meanwhile, the exodus continued. One day, 3 men were on the road, though they were not traveling together. As they walked, they discovered they were from neighboring barrios. How little they knew of life beyond their walls. They enjoyed talking about their festivals and crafts and their people. They started missing the place they once called home. As they proceeded, they saw a bearded gentleman walking on the opposite direction. His face looked familiar, but they could not quite place it. He asked them where they were going. "Just going away for a breath of air," said one. "And hopefully to make a better life," said the second man. "I'm just hopeless, I guess." The third answered. "Why, what's wrong with your town?" The man asked. They shared stories expressing great concerns at the deterioration of the town they had come from. "I'm going there to set things right," the bearded man said softly. The others stared in disbelief. "We tried everything and nothing worked. Might as well leave. Everyone is leaving anyway." "I once lived in your village. I know the secret answer." "Really, Manong? Please do tell us what it is. If I tell you, will you be willing to turn back and bring the secret to your town?" The 3 men nodded, for they did love their hometown and its people, and would not have left except for some truly desperate reasons. The bearded man opened his palms and breathed upon them. A tongue of fire appeared and rested on his hand, but did not seem to burn him. "This is the secret," he said, breathing upon it another time. With each breath, the flame grew, and the air around them immediately took on the pure, clean scent of the old country they knew.
Hey, we have something like that on the town plaza.
One of the men exclaimed.
Siyanga!
The other two exclaimed. In a low voice, the bearded man said,
I know. I once gave your town the flame, but you seem to have forgotten to keep it alive.
He breathed on it again to demonstrate, passed the fire to the next man, who breathed on it too, and who passed it on to his companions, who breathed upon it. With every breath, the more the flame glowed, and a column of pure, clean air surrounded them.
Do what you have to do to keep the flame burning. Share this secret, for it is something all of you must do.
With these words and a warm smile, the bearded man disappeared. The three men were exhilarated.
Siyanga, there is hope for the town.
They turned to head back towards the town. They couldn't wait to tell the others the good news. Night had fallen by the time they got to the town. The three men restored the tongue of fire to the town plaza, while onlookers gathered, shared the secret.
How about me? I am old and have no more breath to give.
A woman asked in a low, wheezing voice. Her husband brought home the flame, explained.
Breathe slowly, however little, it will feed the flame.
And the flame glowed golden beneath her breath.
Siyanga,
the woman said. A child came forward and said,
may I do the same?
The same thing happened.
Pwede pala,
said the child. The children slept soundly in the crisp, clean air as the flame burned silently through the night. The next morning, the three men came together around the flame. With each breath they gave, the air was made fragrant and pure. Barrier walls came down, and one by one, more people with hope renewed came forth to breathe upon the living flame, and to hear the story of the encounter with the bearded stranger on the road. Siyanga, they would all say, for in their hearts they knew who he was.
Allah